Okay, so now this looks like a reloading press now. I set up my dies. I do have videos on the channel for you to set up, how to explain how to set up dies. I thought I'm not going to run through all of that and make this video 2 hours long. So let me explain to you what I did with the dies. Sizing die. The instruction says you must install it till it touches the shell plate with the press at the top. Then turn it down 1/3 more. Now I didn't do that. I only turned it in till it touches the shell plate. Then I used my trusty case gauge to check if the case is sized all the way, and the case was sized all the way there. This press doesn't have a lot of play in it. I almost want to say it's got no play in it. Presses like Loadmasters Pro 1000, some of the single stage presses, they have a bit of play in, so that's why Lee tells you that 1/4 more, 1/3 more to take the play out of the press. But not necessary here. So I just turned it in till it touches, size the case, it's sized perfectly. I'm happy there. My depriming pin works, it's pushing the primers out, everything works as it should there. Then on to station number 2, where we've got our powder through expanding die and our auto drum on here. Okay, this is my auto drum. This is one of the first ones that ever came into the country. It's still shipped with this hopper here. The newer ones will ship with a clear PET hopper. If you don't like that and you want these, contact me. I've got some of them in stock, so you can just swap them out. Okay, so back to the die setting. So you turn this die with the press all the way to the top, turn the die until it touches the shell plate, then turn it out 1 full turn. At 1 full turn out, it will only activate the powder measure, it will not add flare. If you want flare, you need to turn the die back in a bit. For a CMJ bullet, normally 1/4 turn gives you enough flare, but for the coated bullets that we are all loading these days, I'll go 1/2 turn in, and that will give me enough flare to seat the silver rapid bullets that I'm loading at the moment without taking any coating off or doing any damage to the head. So turn it in till it touches, 1 full turn out, and then back in for flare. Don't let this die touch the shell plate. If this die touches the shell plate, 2 things are going to happen. Your case life is going to drop. Your cases will not last. Then on your auto drum, let me move this out. If you look on this side, there's a little plastic tab. If that plastic tab touches the body, you can crack the body. So just be aware of that. Set your auto drum normal. These things are quite easy to set with the key. Mine is currently set at 3.2 grains for Vect and BA 9.5, but that's for 147 grain bullets. I'm going back to 4.2 grains for my normal 125 grain load. Then, next 2 stations are empty at the moment. So, this station, tomorrow I'm going to the shops. I'm buying myself a double alpha magnetic powder checker. That's going in here. I'll do a video with that in here when we do a full run of the press. Okay? Station's empty. That's for the future inline bullet feeder to come in here. Then I have my bullet seating die. Okay. So I am not crimping with my bullet seating die. I'm only seating the bullet. So instructions is as follows. Turn the die until it touches the shell plate at the top of the stroke. Make sure you keep firm contact there when you do that. Then turn the die out 3 full turns. Okay. If you turn it out at 3 full turns, it will only seat the bullet. It will not add any crimp. If you turn this die in, it's going to start adding crimp. Now, if you turn it too deep, it will start rolling the crimp, and you don't want that. So, if you're going to crimp separately, don't set any crimp with this die. Okay, so that's quite easy. Then in station number 6, I have an old Lee taper crimp die. I prefer these. I prefer to seat and crimp separately. If you've got a factory crimp die, no problem, that thing works perfectly. Just be careful if you load coated bullets that if you set it too deep, you can swage the bottom of the bullet. You don't want that. So I've got my taper crimp set here. It tapers, the crimp measures at 0.380 inches, which is the perfect crimp for 9mm. So all my dies are set. I've done a couple of dry runs here. Everything works as it should. But let's take a case and check everything. So I've done a couple of dry runs. I just want to see that everything functions as it should. So once I've got the powder check die installed, we are going to load powder, we're going to load primers, and we're going to run this press. I'll do first a couple of tests with the primers, then with the powder, see everything is fine there, set that up, and then we're going to start loading. I don't see any problems with this press. The priming system, I just want to test it. I think it should work perfectly. So, case calculator, I'm just going to drop it into the first one there. Drops in all the way down there. I'm moving to this side so that I can operate the machine. Into station 1. Sizing. Okay, and then I remember station 2 with the priming pin there. Lee says don't cycle the press all the way to the bottom there, just in case that pin can get stuck if there's no primer there. Okay, now we're going to go up. Our powder measure is activated. It's not touching here. Everything is fine there. And the way I've oriented it, I still want to see this part here function. Even if I'm going to have a powder check die, I want to see that part rotating fully. So as I come out, I will feel the flare being added. So that will be a powder check die. That will be a bullet seating die. I've got my bullet here. And one of the concerns a lot of people had was, would you be able to see the powder there? I would be able to see the powder there. I think me and Mr. Ultimate Reloading Light need to design a light for this press. Okay, so now I'm going to place my bullet on top there. And you can see I've got enough flare, my bullet can sit comfortably on the case. So, seating the bullet. And to set the depth here, that's quite easy. Your CL, you can set it with this knob here. That's easy. So I've got mine set at 27.8 millimeters there. So, last station, and we are going to taper crimp. And there is our dummy round, no powders, no primers. That's how you check the press, make sure everything functions perfectly. So, go this way again, my case gauge drops in, perfect, drops out, and you can hear the plump. So far everything is going 100% with this press. I am quite impressed with this press. This press works perfectly. It was quite easy to set up. The function is easy to learn. Die settings. One thing I want to just point out to you, these bushings here, make sure they are properly secured. Turning the dies into them. Let me just take this one out here. I'll show you. There's an O-ring on the inside there. That secures the die in the bushing, so there's no movement on the die. You can see that? No movement on the die. It does take a bit of effort to turn the die in here. So what I actually did is I turned the bushing onto the die and then put it in and did the final adjustments and settings there. So just make sure those are secured. Use this little tool that came with. I'm working with what's in front here, but just like that. Make sure they are all secured. So setting up dies, everything's done. Couple of dry runs done. Everything works as it should. Once I get that double alpha powder check die here, I am going to prime a couple of cases, test the priming system, and I'm going to then start loading on the press. I'm going to take it slow in the beginning, do one case at a time, and then up the volume. But yeah, I expect this press is going to give me a good amount of ammo in an hour. So yeah, till next time guys.